Happy Saturday, everybody. It is a rainy day here in Memphis, and I wanted to come on today, guys, and bring you another conversation. Good morning, everybody. If it's morning where you are, it's still morning here. It's just about 10 o'clock, and I'm up having my tea, drinking me a little lemon ginger tea, guys. Letting it steep right now. But yeah, I wanted to come on while I'm having my tea, just kind of mellowing out this morning. Got my candle burning here and a little bit of a diffuser burning over here, listening to my music this morning. This is my downtime in the morning where I kind of chill out. Been writing in my journal this morning and just had some thoughts, and I came up with an idea that at least once a week I wanted to bring a video that will try to encourage and motivate women dealing with a topic. And this week I'm going to talk about confidence. Ladies, we all struggle with something. We all struggle with something. You know, oftentimes we are looking at images that we see out in the world, whether it's through the media, television, whatever it is, and we often think that we compare ourselves rather with these images or these women that we see, and we often wonder, how can we get that way? Why am I not this way? Why am I, just so down on myself, and I'm always saying negative things about myself? How did she get that way? Everybody struggle with something. Sometimes people are a little bit better at hiding what they're struggling with. I'm going to give y'all a little backdrop on me. And, guys, you that have been with me for a while, you all know I have some videos where I kind of touched on things that I went through. Some of you all know that I grew up in a very physically abusive upbringing through my mom's marriage to my stepfather. So he was very physically abusive to her, and not only her, but he was to us girls. I have two sisters. It was three of us. So I'm gonna let that steep a little bit long. I like my tea to be a little strong. And so that actually did a lot to damage my self-confidence as I was growing up. I already struggled with things coming up in the 70s primarily, and that was in that age of colorism and being the darker skinned sister to my lighter skinned sisters. They're very, very light skinned because my father is light. Well, he's more red, but my father is biracial. His father was actually biracial. He was white and black, so that made my father a little lighter complected, and I think his mom also. So my mother being a mocha sister, and I got more of her. So coming up in that era, being compared to my sisters all the time, they've been told that they were beautiful, and I was average, or not being acknowledged at all. Whenever we went out together as a family, everybody was always oohing and ahhing about how beautiful they were, and I never got the attention. The only person that actually ever gave me attention or told me I was beautiful when I was from about the age of, I'll say, when I started recognizing it, I think I was around 8 years old. Up until about 14 was my grandfather. Actually, he was not my biological grandfather. My grandmother did not marry my father's father. She actually met another man who loved us like we were his own, and he often told me I was beautiful. He often told me that I was more beautiful than my sisters. Whether he meant that or not, it did a lot for me in my confidence, because I was treated differently just from going over to my grandmother's. My grandmother she was that woman. Even though I loved her dearly, she just had a preference to my sisters who were more like her. So often they would get together and they would do things in one room, and I would be in another room with my grandfather. So that damaged me and my image, my self-confidence as I was growing up as a teenager, because I often felt like this darker skinned was not as beautiful as my sisters who are very light. And, I often compared myself to them. So that damaged me growing up. So when you come from an upbringing where your self-esteem wasn't built up, you can grow up with a lack of confidence in yourself. So a lot of women are dealing with a lot of things, as I stated before. It may not have been that traumatic for you. It could be other things. Sometimes weight plays a part in it. You know, we're often comparing ourselves to celebrities. And you know, guys, I wanted to say this because, you know, men sometimes can really damage us as women. You know, they're not looking at the things that we go through. Sometimes weight is a result of health issues, genetics. And so a lot of times women are naturally bigger, even just as children. You know, it could be diets, you know, the way you were raised and what you were fed, because we come from that background of people who love that Southern cooking, and they use all that lard and different things to cook with. You know, that was the way families showed love, through what they did in the kitchen. They cooked and they ate together as a family. And being from, you know, the background that we ate everything. You know, I know my great grandmother would actually, she did things what we call like roadkill. She went out and found animals that were, you know, whether it was a rabbit or whatever, and she killed it and brought it home. So we ate everything. So a lot of people came from not a very healthy background when it came to cooking, but that's the way we show love. So a lot of people were privy to being bigger because of the way they brought up. And like I said, sometimes it's just genetics. But I was on the other spectrum. I was a very thin girl, very thin. When I say very thin, I mean super thin. At 18 years old, I weighed about between 95 and 100 pounds. And I am 5'5". So that was very thin on my body. So I often got made fun of during school and even thereafter. So I had a complex, this real bad image of myself. I just didn't feel beautiful or loved or appreciated by anyone. You know, no one made me feel good about the way I looked. And it's amazing how we can look at other women and see the beauty in them, and they can't see it in themselves. So that's why I never judge a woman. When you look at celebrities who have a real bad self-image problems and they're beautiful in our eyes, and we're looking at them, we're saying, why, you know, what's wrong with you? You are gorgeous. But you never know what that woman dealt with growing up, or what her self-confidence level was, or how people made her feel beautiful. It's important, ladies, if you have daughters, that you try to say that to her. I often feel like I didn't do enough with my girls, but I do remember telling them as young girls that they were beautiful, that they were pretty. You know, I often wanted them to understand that, because my girls were thin as well. And I didn't want them to feel like they were ugly. Now, I'm not sure if they ever felt those things, but I do know my girls had a level of confidence, because I never wanted to show my legs growing up, because I had very thin legs. I was called anything from olive oil to toothpick, all of those things, you know, just because I was thin, and I just didn't understand that. So it took me years, guys, to gain the confidence to be able to be okay in this body and be okay with it. Now, as time grown on, you know that, you know, having children, you know, you gain weight and your body changes as you get older. When you become a middle-aged woman, your body is going to change several different times. I've often talked about that. It's going to change, ladies, it's inevitable. I think your body go through changes to develop you into a woman, because you're not supposed to look like a young girl all of your life. Even though social media and the media entertainment world teaches us that we need to kill ourselves to be super thin, and that's the way we're supposed to look, super thin with these big old butts now that everybody is getting. So if you follow all of that, it will be hard for you to love who you are, or to figure out who that is, or even trying to work toward being a better you. I have often looked at women who work out and they seem to get it all together, and I'm like, woo, because I've had my ups and downs. You know, I'll go through these periods where I'm on my game and my illness will hit me, and then I'll fall off, and then I don't feel like working out or whatever. But my thing is, you have to decide what it is that you can do, and stop trying to do what the next woman does. Stop trying to have her stamina, you know, have her commitment. You got to decide and develop what it is your commitment is to what it is you're working on and what you need to be. And I have resolved to be okay with where I'm at, because when I think about myself and I look at myself, ladies, I'm like, you know, I'm pretty good. You know, to be over 50 and to be in pretty decent health. I do have that autoimmune disease, but I don't claim it in the way that I'm going to allow it to make me not live my life. So every day I get up determined to be a better me, and whatever I have to do, whatever lifestyle changes I have to make in order to feel good about myself, I'm willing to do that. I would never tell a woman that's heavy she needs to lose weight. She has to figure out what it is that she can do to make her feel better about where she is and determine what that is. But the thing that I tell people is that you can't get engulfed in self-pity and just give up on it. If you're determined to be okay with your life and your health, you have to figure out what that road is that's going to make you feel better about where you are. Some things about you can't change because it's the makeup of your body, the way it is. Now, let me kind of alter that a little bit, because we do know if you got the dime, if you have that bag, that you can buy anything that you want. But for an everyday working woman, everyday woman who just lives in life, we're not able to go out there and spend 50 grand to do a whole body alteration. We see women in Hollywood have a baby and then a month later they're snatched back. And that's not because they were just so diligent in the kitchen, making sure their food were, their meals were prepared precisely. It wasn't because they worked out, because your body has to actually go through a lot of changes after you have a baby to get itself back in the mode of even, losing weight. You have to heal. Women, we come so close to death in childbirth. So it's not like your body gonna be snatched back. And for men that put pressure on a woman to look like that, I question that relationship, because a man should appreciate what you went through to bear his children, and that it's going to take time for you to get to a certain point or level, even if you get back there, because even having children will alter the way that your body is made up, because you have to think about what happens to the body when you bear a child, and your whole body changes, your pelvic, your hips. It has to be able to push this, sometimes on average 6 pounds to up to maybe 10-pound life out of your body. And men don't really grasp that, and they're looking for you to be snatched back in a month. So if you don't have a caring person in your life that realizes that and gonna love you through whatever you need to do to be able to be comfortable where you are, I wouldn't even say try to be what you were before, unless that's something you really want to be, but be what's comfortable to you. And that is what I wanted to share today about the struggles that we go through. When we all deal with things. It often bothers me when people call names and they call someone fat or they call someone skinny. We both have struggles. My sister is a heavier woman. She's taller, but she's also a plus size woman. And she's always calling me bony or skinny. And I thought about it. I've never called her fat. I've never called her name, even though I've had thoughts of that, but I've never said it. But I often thought about, if I ever called her, the opposite of what she's calling me, she would really have a problem with that. So ladies, we have to be sensitive to both sides, because both sides truly are a struggle. There are women out there that struggle with gaining weight, as well as it is women that struggle with losing weight, So we have to be sensitive to the struggles on both sides and be compassionate and be encouraging toward one another. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, it's not necessarily a weight. Sometimes you don't feel beautiful. Sometimes you comparing yourself to your siblings and to your friends and to people that you work with, and you don't feel that you look as attractive. And those are things that we have to resolve in our mind to be at peace with. If we stop comparing ourselves and find that balance of what it is that you need to be able to feel good about yourself, you have to go inward. I gave up that idea of having these big beautiful legs, because I used to envy women that could wear mini dresses, because I have really nice sized thighs now that I've had children, but I have very small calves. My calves just don't develop. When I was young, I was a track runner. And I remember coach telling me, you have track legs. Your legs, your calves gonna be naturally, thin. I was a long distance runner, and they just never developed. Now, I probably could have done a whole bunch of weightlifting and probably could have, but some people's muscles just don't develop. My muscles are gonna be long and lean, and I have resolved that. But as a child, I couldn't, and so I struggled with that growing up. But you have to learn how to be comfortable. I can't tell you what you need to do, but my message is that you got to go inward. You got to go inward and stop comparing yourself to the next woman or wanting to be like the next woman. Just like when I was doing my locks, one of the things that I learned when I started growing locks was that I remember looking at other women and saying, those are the locks I wanted. That's the way I want my locks to look. But as I have gone through this 2-year journey of locks, I realize that there's no two set of locks that's going to look the same no matter what you do. You may be in the same length as someone else, but your actual makeup of your lock is going to be different because your hair texture is different. And that's the same thing with every woman. The genetic makeup of you is different from every woman. You're not going to be like any other woman. You are not going to be that. So stop resolving in your mind that you're going to look like Beyonce, or you're going to look like Halle, or you're going to look like Angela Bassett, or Gabrielle Union, or J-Lo's, or Kim Kardashian's. You're going to be different. You got to find the balance of what it is to make you feel good in your body. And ladies, I'm telling you, once you get there and you figure out what it is that you need to do to be happy in that skin of yours, you're going to be so much better for it. You're going to be at peace with yourself. You're going to learn to love yourself. So that's why I stand in the mirror and I tell myself that I love myself. I know that where I'm at in my life, that unless I undergo some type of surgery, which some women choose to do, and if that's what you do to make yourself happy, so be it. But unless I do that, I know that there's certain things about me that's not going to change. Gravity hits you, ladies, when you get older, you know, so you got to do things to keep that. I wear some nice supportive bras. So that's all fine with me. But you got to learn what it is that was going to make you happy about yourself. You got to get in that mirror in the morning and just love on you. Just love on you. Just be thankful that you have the limbs, that you're walking, that you're breathing, you know, and just learn to love it and work on those things that you need to do to make you just learn how to love who you are. And when you get there, guys, I'm telling you, it is nothing no one can do that's going to change that. You just got to learn how to do it. Ooh, this lemon tea is so great. I would just say start with prayer. Ask God to help you to stop comparing yourself to other women and to learn how to love who you are. And ask Him, what do I need to do to figure out how to be okay in my skin? And if I'm not okay in this skin, what do I need to do to make it better? Start there. Truly start there. Start writing your thoughts down. You know, and even get in the mirror and you can laugh at things. I laugh at my body sometimes. I stand up, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm not ashamed. I look at myself sometimes and I turn around, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all, this right here, it ain't going nowhere. It may get a little bit smaller. I have lost about 3 pounds, I think, now. But you know what, guys? Unless I do a tummy tuck or some lipo, all of that is not going to leave me, you know? So I'm okay with that. I love it. I feel like I look like a woman. And, you know, and the funny thing about it is men don't see what we see a lot of times. We out here killing ourselves trying to be thin. And sometimes men loving those soft curves that you have, that soft skin that you have. We were meant to be soft. And you think about it. God gave us these bodies and He made it so that we could birth a whole life. So we're built for something, guys, and we got to appreciate that. So I just wanted to encourage a woman out there that's struggling with being okay with who she is, because we all struggle with something. But let's be a force of a support for women to encourage them. Let's stop tearing down each other. Let's stop talking about women. If you, just because she doesn't look like you or she looks a little different from you, or, you know, stop comparing yourself, stop tearing them down. Let's be a source of encouragement so that our sisters can learn how to love each other. And that's all. Guys, it's a rainy day today. I think I'm going to get out and I'm going to go see a movie today. I'm going to finish my tea here and hopefully get this video up to you guys this evening. But I just wanted to share that today. And I just want us to be encouraged. So I will see you guys on next week, hopefully. And hopefully that we will start this thing of encouraging one another. And let's be this sisterhood that we need to be all that we can be. So you all have a fantastic weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. You're truly amazing. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. Welcome all to all my new subscribers. And thank you so much to my ride or dies. I love you much.